So in today's video, this is actually going to be a little bit more conversational and informative versus my traditional walkthroughs, and really just want to kind of start to do these types of videos as well, so that way you guys can get to know us a little bit more. I know like when we're just doing tutorials directly on the computer, it's, obviously intent based for you to learn specific tactics and techniques, but there's also a lot of things, in terms of mindset and just ways of thinking about business that we generally, like either give via consulting for a lot of bigger companies, or in an agency perspective where we essentially kind of do a done for you solution. We were having our team meeting today, and we essentially have our operations specialist, our PPC account manager, our chief of operations, Nick, which you've seen in other videos, and then myself. And every week we kind of just gather and we talk about, different strategies, different techniques, things that we can really do to move the needle on each of our clients' accounts. And basically innovation for me is just so crucial. Like a lot of times I see, companies that really aren't that agile, and this is something that I kind of preach as well in our company, is that, we're not a mega corporation, right? So we can be very agile. This concept came from software originally, but basically the simplification of it is just the fact that you can really move fast and essentially move in a certain direction and change your direction almost on a moment's notice. You're very fluid and kind of like what you do and how you operate. And I try to run kind of a similar concept within the agency space. And, when we invest in a lot of different trainings, we invest in different softwares, like even sometimes we just have experiments that we use for different accounts, something maybe where we would fund a new marketing effort just so that way we can get brand new case study, for example. And this kind of brings me to the point of how you really need to look at Amazon and your branding in 2022, because a lot of people, obviously it's been sold a lot, just to quit your 9 to 5 and be able to essentially run Amazon FBA. But a lot of that was prior to the competitive nature that has become, major factor for new Amazon sellers. So if you're entering into the market right now, you really have to have that fluid mindset as well. I think like you have to always be willing to test new things, be willing to invest money in different avenues for your brand, because if you're not, then you're going to essentially get destroyed. So what kind of techniques, what kind of strategies, what kind of things am I talking about? So in 2022, one of the biggest things that I've seen as of recently has been the Amazon post. And this is in essence a way to kind of have a news feed, almost like a social media news feed from like Instagram or Facebook or whatever other platform. But in essence, it's to build a customer list. It's to build followers that you can later on promote to, start sending emails to. We might do a tutorial video on that later on. We're still kind of in the process ourselves of setting some of that up because it's brand new. But yeah, and then there's also other avenues such as driving external traffic from Google or from Facebook or from Pinterest. And Amazon's even incentivizing that. Like in one of my previous videos, I was talking about the new Amazon program that essentially gives you 10% back on external traffic that you drive to Amazon if they make a purchase. So really in our meeting today, we were talking about a lot of these concepts, and my account executive was, bringing up new ideas of things that we can test. And we've been talking about running Google ads potentially. There's many different avenues that we're just exploring right now. And this is on top of all the other testing that we already have established, like A/B split testing inside of Amazon, and setting up promotions and coupons and all these different ad campaigns. It's easy to get kind of, I guess, overwhelmed, but in reality, there's a lot of fancy terms for this type of stuff, but at the end of the day, marketing really is just about experimenting. And without experimentation, you're not going to know what works and what doesn't work. So I think really the core lesson to be taught here is the faster iteration, the faster that you can test your different theories or test things, even on a very micro budget, the better. Because if you're always innovating, you're always going to be ahead of your competition that's maybe just, happily stagnant as number one for the keyword that you're going after. They're not maybe putting in that effort. So as the people are comfortable, the brands that you're trying to outrank on Amazon, that's when you really need to come in and, attack and try to get that market share, try to gain keyword ranking from being completely agile, always learning, always innovating, always adding new things. And on top of this, there's another reason just outside of, just your own brand or thinking in that lane. The other thing is acquisitions. Right now, there's a lot of aggregators, Amazon aggregators, they're calling at the Prosper show. I've heard that there's a lot of these aggregators that have been showing up. And for those of you that don't know what Prosper is, it's a event in Las Vegas where they go over, or basically an Amazon event, a big Amazon event. But in essence, there's a lot of these aggregators that attended the event, and what they're doing is going out and scouting for good brands and things that they want to kind of come in and invest in or potentially buy out. And there's going to be a lot of exits, I think, in 2022 and beyond in the e-commerce space. So for those of you that don't know, when you go to sell your Amazon business, if you choose to sell your Amazon business, you can get pretty big multipliers, like maybe 2 or 3x what you're making on an annual basis in profit. The more that you can do, especially now, to start building up that future vision of your business, the future brand, and stop thinking of it just as a quote unquote passive income stream that you set and forget, the better off that you're going to be at the end of the day. Because if you're constantly innovating, you're constantly building out your brand, it's going to be a lot more attractive to investors out there, and you're going to get a lot more attention, and maybe you could even land in retail space. You got to really start to think outside of just Amazon, but also within Amazon. How can I position myself ahead of these other competitors? Obviously there's things like brand registry and trademarks and all of these things that a lot of beginner sellers may not kind of venture into, but the more established brands, the brands that we generally work with, they're constantly investing and reinvesting in their brand to try to grow and continue to bring new customers, new growth. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people also don't look at the long term, so they're very short-minded and short-sighted rather, and they're looking at the next 20 days or the next 30 days or how the previous 30 days performance was, as opposed to looking at a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and where you want your actual product catalog to be. Do you just want to be a single product? Do you want to have 5 products? Do you want to have 10 products, 100 products? And if so, what kind of branding are you using? What's your packaging look like? Like, what avenues are you advertising from? Like, all of these things kind of stack up and make your brand worth even more money at the end of the day for an investor. So I would say for you guys, just constantly be thinking, how can I improve my brand presence, and what else do I need to do currently to make my brand more attractive to outside investors, to have an exit strategy so that one day maybe an investor can come in and buy you out, and you've built up this asset that you now have, and you can sell it directly for several years, profit, and exit out of the company and do something else. So just wanted to record this video to go over this concept of innovation and being agile. So I hope that this mindset overall is effective for you guys. Let me know in the comments below. If you could give me a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for more videos just like this, and also many more walkthroughs and tutorials on Amazon FBA. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.